Have you ever felt completely knocked down? Wondering how in the world you're going to get back up? Well, here's the thing. It's not really about avoiding the fall. It's about having a plan, a blueprint for the comeback. Today, we're going to break down that blueprint for building an incredibly powerful mindset, one that can turn any setback into a setup for something way, way bigger.
This quote, it just gets right to the heart of so much of our stress, right? We spend all this time and energy trying to map out the future, planning every single step. But the real magic, where true confidence comes from, is when we learn to just trust the journey itself.
Okay, so where do we even begin? The very first part of our blueprint is all about trust. It's about having this deep down faith that even the confusing parts, the difficult moments, the seemingly random events in your life, they're all leading you somewhere important.
And look, the amazing thing is, it doesn't really matter what you trust in. It could be your gut feeling, that little voice inside. It could be a sense of destiny or karma, or just a general belief that life has a funny way of working itself out. The crucial thing is to just anchor yourself to something bigger than what you can see right in front of you. And this is why it's such a game changer. When you really truly believe that those dots are going to connect down the road, it gives you this incredible courage. The courage to follow your heart, even if it leads you off the main road and onto some crazy, unpaved path. That belief, that's the fuel that lets you take the risks that are going to make all the difference.
All right, so if you've got that foundation of trust, what's next? Where do you point yourself? Well, once you have faith in the journey, you need a compass. And that compass, it comes from finding what you truly love.
We all face this exact choice every single day. On one side, there's a life guided by your own inner voice, making the most of the short time you have. And on the other, you're trapped by dogma, which is really just a fancy way of saying you're living with the results of other people's thinking. It's the difference between writing your own story or just being a character in someone else's.
And just take a look at this. Seriously. Your work is going to fill a massive part of your life. We can't pretend it's some small slice of the pie. It's most of the pie. So if we actually want to be satisfied in life, finding fulfillment in what we do for a living isn't a luxury. It's absolutely essential. And this really is the heart of it all. It's this simple, unbreakable chain reaction. To be satisfied, you've got to do what you believe is great work. And the only way you're ever going to do great work is if you love what you do. Simple as that. One just can't exist without the other.
So the message here is incredibly direct. It's powerful. This is not something you can just compromise on. If you haven't found that thing you love yet, your journey is not over. You have to keep searching. Whatever you do, don't settle for a life that is less than one you can truly love.
But there's always a but, isn't there? There's this huge wall that stands between us and the life we really want. That wall, that enemy, it's fear. And we have to be willing to confront it head on.
It really is the silent assassin of ambition. Just think about it. Every amazing idea you had but never chased, fear was right there, whispering in your ear that it wasn't possible, that you weren't good enough.
It's the poison that slowly turns your optimism into cynicism. It's that nagging voice that convinces you it's not even worth trying in the first place. It's what turns I can into, what's the point?
And this is its ultimate weapon. Fear doesn't just slow you down. It can stop you dead in your tracks. It can chain you down, leaving you totally unable to move toward the very things you know you're capable of achieving.
So how do you fight back against something so powerful? How do you break free from that paralysis? Well, the answer isn't motivation, it's discipline. This is the engine that will actually drive you forward, even when fear is screaming at you to hit the brakes.
Just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got feelings. They're like a roller coaster in a storm, completely unreliable, chaotic, changing all the time. Following them leads you nowhere. But principles? That's the straight path on the other side. They are constant, they're stable, and they lead to a real destination. You don't feel like getting up? That's the roller coaster. Your principles and your goals require it? That's the path.
And this is a really important warning, because your emotions, they're not just going to sit quietly if you ignore them. They will actively work against you. They will use you. The choice is really that simple. Either you learn to discipline and contain them, or you will be contained by them.
Okay, this brings us to the final, most powerful part of the entire blueprint. We've talked about trust, we've talked about passion, we've talked about discipline. Now it is time to pull it all together and take absolute, unconditional ownership of your own story.
And here it is, the actual path. It's not magic, it's a process. Step 1. you have to accept where you are right now. No excuses, no blaming anyone. Step 2, you accept 100% of the responsibility for getting where you want to go. Then, it becomes a daily decision, a choice to live with passion and to actively push yourself to get uncomfortable.
And what happens when you follow this path? You develop this unshakable core. It's this quiet declaration you make to yourself when everything is going crazy around you. You find your center, and you just remind yourself, I am in control here.
And from that control comes defiance. You're not just surviving, you are announcing your return. This isn't just a hope, it is a statement of fact. You're not just getting back up, you are coming back stronger because of what you've been through.
And in the end, all of it, boils down to these two simple, powerful words. Forget the doubt, forget the fear, forget what anyone else thinks is possible. I can.
Look, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday or even 5 minutes ago. The pen is in your hand right now. The last chapter hasn't been written yet. So, what are you going to write?